The wrestling world is in shock today as we say goodbye to one of the most iconic figures in sports entertainment history. Hulk Hogan, born Terry Eugene Bollea, has died at the age of 71. Known to millions as the face of professional wrestling, Hogan's legacy goes far beyond the ring. He was the symbol of an era, a larger-than-life figure who turned wrestling into a global phenomenon. With his towering frame, yellow bandanas, ripped shirts, and booming voice, Hulk Hogan became not just a superstar, but a legend. Today, we look back at the life, the impact, and the emotional final hours of the man behind Hulkamania. According to close family sources, Hogan passed away peacefully in his Clearwater, Florida home, surrounded by his closest loved ones. His wife Sky Daly and his children, Brooke and Nick Hogan, were at his bedside during those final moments. In recent years, Hogan had been quietly battling a string of health complications that stemmed from a lifetime of physical punishment. Between wrestling injuries, more than a dozen back and hip surgeries, and chronic pain, he had lived with intense discomfort, but always put on a brave face for the public. "The pain never stops, brother," he once said in an interview, "but the love from the fans makes it worth it." In the days leading up to his passing, Hogan was noticeably more reflective. He wasn't taking public appearances and had been spending more time with family, attending church, and watching old wrestling matches. Friends say he knew his time was limited and wanted to spend it doing the things that mattered most. One close friend shared that Hogan had recently said, "I want to go out with peace in my heart, not regret." On the morning before his death, Hogan made one last visit to a beachside cafe he loved in Clearwater. He greeted a few staff members, spoke kindly to regulars, and gave one fan a heartfelt message. "Take care of yourself, be kind, that's what the world needs." It wasn't the booming showman Hulk Hogan the world was used to. It was Terry, the man behind the fame, showing his heart. One cafe worker later told reporters, "He seemed peaceful, like he was saying goodbye without saying it." Later that afternoon, back at home, Hogan spent hours in his favorite room watching old footage from his wrestling career, including matches from the golden days of WrestleMania, his battles with Andre the Giant, Randy Savage, and the Ultimate Warrior. According to his son Nick, Hogan grew emotional watching himself in the ring. "He started tearing up and said, 'I really lived it, didn't I?'" Nick recalled. "He wasn't afraid, he was proud." As the evening settled in, family gathered around him. He spoke to his daughter Brooke about life, forgiveness, and faith. He told her, "If I've taught you anything, let it be strength and kindness." To Nick, he gave his final message to the fans: "Tell them I love them. I did this for them." Not long after, Hulk Hogan passed peacefully in his sleep, with the people who mattered most to him nearby. The news of Hogan's death spread quickly across the world, and social media erupted in grief and remembrance. Fellow wrestlers, celebrities, athletes, and fans alike began posting photos, stories, and tributes. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, one of today's biggest stars, tweeted, "Without Hulk Hogan, there is no me. He paved the path, showed us the way, and lifted wrestling to global heights. Rest in power, brother." Wrestling legend Ric Flair shared an emotional message saying, "We fought, we laughed, we lived. Thank you for being the hero the world needed." The WWE responded with a statement honoring Hogan as the foundation of modern professional wrestling and immediately began planning a tribute show in his honor. Candlelight vigils formed outside arenas across the US, and fans appeared in full costume, bandanas, feather boas, and old-school Hogan merch, holding posters that read, "Thank you, Hulk, and forever immortal." Some fans even gathered at Hogan's beachfront store in Florida, laying flowers and memorabilia in front of the entrance. For decades, Hulk Hogan was the face of professional wrestling. His charisma, energy, and stage presence helped WWE, then WWF, explode into a global force. From the mid-1980s to the early 2000s, he dominated wrestling's biggest stages, drawing record-breaking crowds and headlining some of the most memorable matches in history. His body slam on Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 remains one of the most iconic moments in wrestling, not just for its athleticism, but for its symbolism. Hogan represented hope, strength, and the triumph of good over evil. When he ripped his shirt and cupped his hand to his ear, fans went wild. He wasn't just a performer, he was a hero. Yet, behind the spotlight, Hogan's life wasn't without challenges. He faced public scandals, family issues, and very personal setbacks. At times, he was harshly judged and even cancelled by parts of